Szép jó estét kívánok, nagy tisztelettel köszöntöm a Sporttelevízió nézőit. Az utolsó szakasza, az utolsó sessionje is megkezdődik az idei, a 2023. évi pool világbajnokságnak Kielcében, és az első elődöntő tempóját láthatjuk. Kun Lin Wu, valamint Mohammad Soufi, a két résztvevő, íme a szíriai fiatal ember, és
thank you, the first rack, Mohammad Soufi to break.
És miután neki sikerült jól a tempó, ezért ő kezdi majd a 11 nyert rekkig tartó első elődöntőt. Őszinte leszek, próbáltam nagyon sok helyen utána nézni a szíriai fiatalembernek, de sok, hogy mondjam, adatot nem igazán sikerült összeszedni róla. Nem igazán volt számottevő eredménye az elmúlt esztendőkben. Picivel több mint $5000 keresett 2022-ben, ez volt a legjobb éve, de nagy eseményen, nagy versenyen még nagyon asztalhoz sem tudott állni, illetve ahova eljutott, ott nem feltétlenül jutott a torna végére. Viszonylag hamar búcsúzott ezeken az eseményeken. Hát már most meglátjuk, hogy itt az elődöntőben, mégiscsak egy VB elődöntőbe jutni azért az nem akármilyen teljesítményre megy.
Extension call.
Kis időt kér. Kun Lin Wu. Kun Lin Wu egyébként ugye Max Lechnert verte a második körben, és a negyed döntőben pedig nagyon simán 11-4-re győzte le azt a Huangot, aki viszont egy körrel korábban a címvédőt, Shane van Beuninget vert egy szoros meccsen 11-10-re. Ennek a negyed döntős meccsen 11-4 lett az eredménye, nem sikerült itt most ebben érdemben hozzátennie Wu-nak, és ezt most kihasználhatja Mohammad Soufi, ugye innen nézve azért viszonylag jónak tűnik az asztal. Különösebben nem kell aggódni. Szóval aki azért idáig eljut, azért azt gondolom, hogy az mindenképpen egy komoly teljesítmény és említésre méltó, és nagy valószínűséggel Mohammad Soufi, aki egyébként nem tudom, szírzászlók alatt versenyez, de Németországban él, hogyha jók az információim. Élete legnagyobb sikerét érte már el ezzel. Ha bejutna a döntőbe, az meg aztán tényleg egy fantasztikus teljesítmény lenne. Szép, megvan az első játék.
Finds himself trailing. Before the match, we caught up with the man from Chinese Taipei.
My friend, my family will watch my game. Hopefully, I win world champion. Yeah.
Well, that's the message, plain and simple. And I think he could be the world champion. I think any of the four left could be. Clearly, you have to make the winner of our second semi-final favourites in the final, whoever they come up against, especially Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, but do not discount either of these two. That's a a dangerous occupation.
Yeah, absolutely. And either player will gain a lot of confidence
Right,
whoever moves on.
Mohammad Soufi to break, leading 1 rack to 0.
You can just see it in his face. He's enjoying every second. Kind of curious how all 4 of these players slept last night, especially these 2. Watch out, cue ball.
Foul stroke, ball in hand. Can you set the match clock to show it's 1-0 Mohammad, please? The match score.
Now you'll see at the bottom of the screen next to their name, Wu, what was 53rd seed here? Is that what it said?
Start the clock, please.
Yes, both were.
Or 63rd, excuse me.
Both were well down the list. Given his run to that semi-final in 2017 in Doha and Qatar, clearly we thought that Wu might be a contender. On that occasion, he beat the likes of Warren Kiamko, Albin Auschen. Eventually lost to Carlo Biardo in the semis 11-6. And Biardo went on to lift the trophy.
Yeah, and what I was getting at is to see an unseeded player in the top, you know, the ladder 64 out of 128. You see that to make this run, right? It's usually like a young player that's just really improved, not, you know, no one really noticing where they came from, but Soufi to do it is pretty special, I tell you. He's got to play a little kiss shot here on the 4, maybe with a little left side. That way he can spin off the 4 lightly. Looks like he may be drawn by it. That looks okay. Oh, he did cannon into the 4. Really nice control. That's a touchy shot early, especially really your first offensive plays of the match.
The early stages of the week were double elimination before the last 64. And Wu did suffer a defeat. In his second contest, he was beaten by Francisco Sanchez Ruiz 9-7. So maybe we could be witnessing in the final a rematch.
Yeah, and in that match, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Wu had Sanchez Ruiz 7-1. Big shot here. He's got to play a pretty heavy stun or draw by the 8. Both very difficult from distance. Wow, that was a pretty sweet stroke.
You would think with a 30-second shot clock in operation, Jeremy, you wouldn't see a big difference in pace, but there is between these 2. It's apparent already. Wu is much more circumspect. Soufi is like lightning.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to go into the 9 because going around it, really nothing offers position. So little clip. I don't know if he's going heavy. Oh, he could go by it. He overcut it. I thought that was an awkward shot to go by the 9 coming above the 7. And this is a little bit of what I saw early against Lechner yesterday. He did settle in a bit more towards the end.
"29 years of age, Soufi. He's been living in Dortmund, Germany for 6 years. Best ever performance in a matchroom promoted major event, last 32 of the European Open last year. So this is a bolt from the blue.
He does a slow roll them 9 balls. It seems like no matter how difficult they are. And now 2-0 lead.
Wu missed a ball, overcut it, and Soufi did the rest. 9-ball ranking 76. That will improve markedly regardless of what's happened and what will happen here. Just looking down his possibilities. He's already 23rd guaranteed leaving here if he loses this semi-final. If he's runner-up later on today, he's 13th. And if he wins the whole thing, he's up to 6th.
Yeah, pretty incredible stories brewing here, and match by match, ball by ball, it seems. Wu's got to leave that alone. And the problem I see is, just like last night, Soufi can break the balls. So he could put a few racks together and get a little separation
Mohammad Soufi
early.
to break, leading 2 racks to 0.
Not the best hit on the 1 ball that time, and something I really haven't seen from Soufi. Did get one down. I'll tell you, we'll see if he wants to stay aggressive. I mean, this looks like a little bit of a crazy combination on the 9, but sometimes they sit to where you kind of like them. I think he's just going to play the safety, of course, but sometimes you get, you know, where you really like a shot, he's not going to consider it. He's going to maybe pocket the 4. Okay, with the 4 hanging, we'll see if Wu wants to go aggressive with the long rail bank combination. Does he come behind the 8 with the cue ball, maybe? Banking the 1 away. That's got to be hit much firmer. Oh, he had a nice shot here. Good speed. That's going to settle him in. Even if he doesn't come away with a shot, that's a nice execution. And twice he's gotten to the beeps, Phil. That's the last 5 seconds of the shot clock.
As I said before, Jeremy, there's definitely a big disparity between the way they approach the game. Wu is more orthodox. Soufi is refreshingly quick.
Extension call.
Interesting. He'll take a little more time on some of these kick shots, and when he gets an open shot, it's like he's got somewhere to be. It's going to open up. It's going to be a long shot for Wu. So after a missed 6 ball in game number 2, we'll see how he can recover. You know, I don't know if I put inside English here, a little left English. I don't know if it's really needed, but this is a big ball to pocket right here. I might go at the 8 and take a little chance here. That was center cut. I think that was a smart play, a little dangerous, but a lot easier to bury that 1 with a natural outside English or maybe even a straight high ball. Another big shot here, and the type of shot the players, especially when nerves are high, they like to elevate the cue versus just kind of roll the ball in.
Extension call, please.
Now he's got to play position, so can he avoid the 9 coming 1 rail? All right, he's trying to stun around the 9. This could catch a little piece of it and make the 3 very awkward. All right, he went with a high ball and he hit it pure, almost too pure, Phil. And if you'll notice, he caught the 2 a little thick to the pocket. Really worried about catching the 9 coming back for position, and consequently got snookered. If he has to come underneath the 8 here off of 1 rail, I would look at the 2 rail escape, but he's going to have to hit it with speed to bend the cue ball back towards the 3. Watch for the scratch in the side or the corner.
So in both of the last 2 racks, he's had his chance, Wu. He overcut the 6 in rack 2. This time, hooks himself on the 3. And the table is wide open. The ball's screaming pot me.
Yeah, he's got to come out delicate here. Light speed. May draw it, I guess. Oh, he went rail first. That's surprising. It's going to be just fine, I think. Yes, it held up. So he's going with his instincts like he has the entire event. And if I was in his corner, I'd tell him, don't change anything.
Yeah, don't change your winning formula, as they say.
Uh-oh. That's a little shy. He's going to have a thin cut, but for your snooker fans, if you ever watched Tony Drago, right? First time I played Tony, and I was a pretty seasoned guy. This type of speed around the table can kind of get a little under your skin as an opponent.
Mohammad, Soufi wins the rack.
There is no doubt it is disconcerting most of the time if a pace of play is dictated by a particular player. It's the slower player, but in this case, it's the faster one. Soufi 3-0 up. As for Wu Kunlin, he's trying to add to a proud heritage of players from Chinese Taipei who've captured this title. The most recent winner, of course, was Ko Pin Yi in 2015 in Doha. Fong Pang Chao, going back further than that, won it twice. And Wu Chia-ching, when he was 16 years of age, he captured the title for Chinese Taipei, although he doesn't represent them now.
Yeah, and I was there for that one in Taipei, I believe it was. And he played pretty fast. Of course, he was a young man, and they usually do.
Yeah, Fong Pang Chao's victories were in Germany in '93, then in Cardiff and Wales in Millennium Year. Not too far from the Millennium Stadium, actually.
Yeah, I was there for that one as well. He beat the Mexican player, Ismael Paez, the jumping bean. Saw him get some action on the 9, now the cue ball. So another ball in hand for Wu to get started. This is super important in this semifinal.
Start the clock, please.
Well, Wu can't complain about a lack of opportunities. And here's another.
He's going to draw the ball above the 8. All right, I don't know if he overdrew this or not. This could be a little awkward if he's off angle going into the 7 apiece, going forward and maybe drawn back to a pretty thin shot on the pink. Yeah, it's exactly the angle he has. Nice shot. Keeping it simple. And I believe last night that Soufi, if I remember correctly, trailed 8-5 in that match. Won 11-8, so that's 6 on the spin to finish and 3 here, so 9 racks in a row on the main stage. Uh-oh, yeah. And he played the 4, I thought, you know, where the 4 was, and don't get me wrong, he's supposed to make that ball, but he could have rolled forward off the 4 to short side on the 5. Much easier shot with the 6. Pretty playable.
When you interview players, they always say, it's all about me, how I play. But it isn't. It's about how the other guy plays. And if they play badly, more than likely you win. And so far, this has been a bad performance from Wu.
Yeah, especially with 2 ball in hands. I mean, the percentage of the players, you know, especially with them open, getting out with ball in hand. But, you know, I think, okay. So little things we see so far are going Soufi's way, and Not really fortune necessarily, just Wu not capitalizing.
Mohammad Soufi wins the round.
How about this? He's not playing flawlessly, but the score is flawless. He couldn't be doing any better in that regard. He leads Wu Kunlin, who's made a very slow start.
ben bocsánat, $6550 keresett, és 5 versenyt írtak fel a neve mellé, játszott a Treviso Openen, ott 33. lett, a legjobb helyezés, egy 5. volt a Predator German Openen, ott több mint $2500 volt a jutalma Soufinak. Volt egy 9. helye a Dynamic Biliárd Patrick Openen, $1000 fölötti keres, a European Openen 17. ott kereken $2000, és volt még egy $594 köre Szlovéniában. Szép. Tajvani egyébként azért egy komolyabb szintű játékos. Tavaly $21.485 volt a keresete. Viszont itt Soufi behozza a második rekket is, és 2-0-ra vezet. Picit ugrunk az időben, mert ugye 3 mérkőzést kell, ugye a 2 elődöntőt és a döntőt besűrítenünk itt egy 3 órás programba, és ugye ez azért, ha elejétől végignéznénk a mérkőzéseket, akkor nagyon nehéz lenne. Így aztán azt lehet látni, hogy Soufi nem csak 2-0-ra, hanem 5-0-ra is vezetett már, úgyhogy innen jön majd a következő rek. Azért ez eléggé megnyugtatónak tűnő előnye, 11 nyert rekig lenni, tehát szép lassan félúton lehet a szír-biliárdos. És mondom, ez annak tükrében, hogy azért jó néhány éve a tájföldi ott van, pontosan a tájvani, bocsánat, ott van a legjobbak között, ezért ez mindenképpen azt gondolom, hogy meglepetés. Na nézzük, hogy a 6. rekben is sikerül-e folytatni ezt a káprázatos teljesítményt, illetve megmarad-e a rajt és a kezdés utáni lendület. Ó, de nem, hogy csak megmarad ám, hanem elmegy a 9-es a jobb középbe. Hát ezt ilyen gyorsan is le lehet rendezni. 6-0. Ott egy kicsit a kék. Egy kicsit a kék. Megkocogtatja úgy, ott, hogy ott pont be tudjon esni középre. A golden break, tehát ezúttal megvan. 6-0. Váninak tavaly volt a legjobb éve, több mint $21.000 keresett. Most nem túl boldog, mert ez most nem egyelőre nem neki áll ez a mérkőzés. Ugye a másik elődöntőben az osztrák Mario He, illetve a spanyol Francisco Sánchez Ruiz a világranglista vezetője jutott be. Ugye Shane Van Beuningen, Joshua Filler már korán kiesett, Alvin Ocean is a negyed döntőben búcsúzott, őt ugye pont Soufi verte 11-8-ra, és Mario He pedig ugye a 6. helyen található, de ugye nem jutott sokáig Zielinski, Kazakis, Lechner és Gold sem, bár azt azért hozzá kell tenni, hogy majdnem közel volt az újabb Golden Break. Nézzük csak. Ugyan oda ment volna. Lehet, hogy a tájváni, bocsánat, egy kicsit nem mérgesebben nézett volna. Nézzük a 2-est. Azt most elrontja. Azt most elrontja Soufi. Így aztán megkapja a lehetőséget Kunlin Wu. Shane Van Beuningen egyébként, mint mondtam, a vietnámi Dong Quoc Huang-tól kapott ki. 11-10-re, nagyon szoros volt. És ugye a legjobb 16 között Kunlin Wu is egy szoros meccsen 19-re tudta csak Max Lechnert legyőzni, és Soufi sem egy nyugodt meccset játszott, ő is kijátszotta teljesen a 16 közötti partját, a legjobb 8-ba jutásért Sebastian Batkovskit 11-10-re verte. Mario He 11-10-re Morrát, a kanadait, és Francisco Sánchez Ruiz pedig az Dennis Grabét verte 11-8-ra abban a körben.
We have to bear in mind, Jeremy, he's had some wonderful wins here. Beat the Italian Fabio Petroni, former Mosconi Cup player. Alex Kazakis 11-2, Naoki Oi 11-4, Max Lechner 11-9, and in the quarterfinals, the conqueror of Shane Van Beuningen, Huang of Vietnam. All fell to Wu Kunlin, who in 2021 won a big event on American soil, the Las Vegas Open.
Yeah, he'll probably be going back there in a couple weeks' time. That's one of the defending champions. But nothing more important than the 6, 7, 9 he has in front of him now. This could get a little awkward. I don't know if he gathered the natural angle, and he's a little off angle, meaning if you're behind the ball going away from it, you want more angle to track the cue ball easier around the table. So he's got to unleash the stroke a bit here. This is when nerves are high, you end up a little short for some reason, kind of punch it. But this is a lot of angle actually for these guys. Yeah, that's beautiful stroke. Really nice and very important. Pretty calm delivery there, so maybe this rack can settle Wu in.
Well, at least the Wu duck is broken, and with this being a race to 11, we should not completely write off his chances just yet. Okay, Soufi is a little more than halfway to victory, but he's not there yet. So this was the quarterfinals we saw last night. Wu beating Duong Kwok Wang, who was terrific, I thought, in overcoming Shane Van Boning. Also, one has to say, a little fortunate at just the right time. Soufi, very fortunate, had 3 outlandish flukes on the way to beating Albin Auschen 11-8. Mario He coming through with a late surge from 9-6 down against Niels Fine. And the performance of the day, by a country mile, was that of Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, who looked phenomenal in coming back from 3-0 behind against Chang Junlin.
Trailing by 6 racks to 1.
Yeah, Ruiz gets that engine, that steam engine rolling as quickly as anyone I've ever seen in the game. It's almost like just pounce from the get. All right, I believe our first break off here from Wu. And not the connection he wanted. The thing is, some of the guys hit him harder than others. The ones that are a little lighter, and that's not a questionable break by any means, but if you catch it thin, you could almost hear like an 8 or 9 way combination on the balls, and seems to never produce results.
Jeremy, you're steeped in pool. Over the years, you must have seen very big tournaments won by someone who's come out of nowhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to think exactly kind of this scenario, of course. You know, they used to say Tommy Kennedy's win in the U.S. Open, even though Tommy was a very good player, of course. But at that time, it seemed like a huge win and something we may never see in that type of event again. And that's the type of thing where a young player that's kind of coming up, you kind of maybe expect that from time to time. But Soufi's been competing for some time, and by far his biggest results. Touchy shot here if he's going to bank it. He's thinking, can I get into the 3, maybe get into the purple to hold position
please.
on the red 3. You know he doesn't want to play safe.
Just one thing about Soufi, I think he'll inspire an awful lot of people, because we have these 256 player events now promoted by Matchroom. These guys turn up, pay their entry fee. The vast majority hope to win. They can't really do it. But now they're thinking, hold on a minute. If he can, I can.
Absolutely. We don't always see in sports the perfect fundamental, as you would say, or technique. You know, we see that win more often than you think. It's just a lot about desire, you know, being able to repeat what you do and never giving up. All right, he's got to gain a pretty decent position near the top head spot. Would be a good place for the cue ball. Yeah, that's where he's tracking it. You notice the 6, really he wants to play it to the lower right, so he's going to have to cheat the pocket here a little bit. And when you do that, how much you cheat of that pocket really determines the speed and line of the cue ball. So he could overhit this a hair with the 7-8 odd, like getting on the rail. You see, that's easy to overhit that because you're cheating the pocket so much. And this may work out, though, if he can get by the 9 and go at that 7 off a couple cushions. Oh, what about the 6-9 combo? Yeah, that's probably maybe the play. Looks like he's playing this safety. I brought it up in the opening that, of course, Wu with more World Championship experience in the semifinal and just more experience, period, but he didn't get to play on this table last night in his wins, and Soufi did in a big moment.
Extension, please.
Yeah, Soufi trying to reach a World 9-Ball Championship final before he's reached a Euro Tour final. He's best as a semi-final at the Lascaux Open in 2021. There are so many stats to underline that he's not done an awful lot on the international stage until now.
Well, he's played a nice safety to where it's very hard to get safe. May want to try and hit this with some speed, trying to create a little fortune. Yeah, it's a very open table. We'll see what this 6-ball does. I don't know. With the 7-8 combo, you don't want to shoot that from some distance. He may bank the 6 lightly underneath the 9 and track the cue ball around for a save. I don't think he's going to attack here. It's a little light with the cue ball and a little heavy with the 6. Not terrible, though. Big moments for Wu. And this is kind of in between. Not the easiest to control everything, tracking the cue ball a couple rails behind the 7-8. Not the easiest to lay him down behind the 9. And a very difficult pot. He's trying to go behind the 9, so it's all speed control, and he's got to love that. Very nice effort. So we'll see if Soufi wants to hit it, this kick shot with a lot of speed, or if he plays it very light, which is the savvy play. He can go 1 rail, he can go 2 rails and kind of clip it. He's going 1 rail. Pretty good effort, but I think he did leave it on. Safety or the 6 down the rail. Now Wu, who's had a few concerns making the ball, he may elect to play the simple safety behind the 8. He's playing the safety with that low tip position there, I think, anyways. Two to 3 rail escape here, Phil.
Just thinking it's the matchup, isn't it? The orthodox against the unconventional. The seasoned player against the shooting star.
Yeah, you shouldn't go to the top rail here. You should go 2 cushions off the right side rail. Trying to come across the 6. That way the 6 kind of, the cue ball kind of bleeds towards. He's missed it.
Foul stroke. Ball in hand.
7's pretty snug going by the 8. Nothing easy there,
Start the clock,
especially
please.
if you're nervous.
A referee, Brendan Moore, gets the cue ball out of the pocket, presents it to Wu, who's in to double his total.
Yeah, and a touchy shot. Positioning the cue ball there tells me most likely he's trying to get some short side position between the 7-8, or maybe a little bit underneath the 7. That's got to go. That may marry the 7 with ball in hand. He's all right.
Bread and butter 9-ball coming up. have to wonder, is the form book starting to regain its relevance? Soufi's lead reduced. Wu, lots to think about, but I think, Jeremy, he'll be feeling marginally better than he did 20 minutes or so ago.
Yeah, absolutely. Winning a few tactical battles, getting a little more time at the table. He's got to get the break going, though. I mean, hard to catch up. Soufi doesn't seem like he's in the mood to really miss many balls. So Wu's got to get it going.
Such a big day for him. If he were to lose in the semi-final, he'd be 21st in the 9-ball ranking. Yes, a considerable improvement. But if he gets to the final, he's guaranteed 10th. And if he were to win the World Championship, he would be the world number 6. Now, last night there was a new ranking event announced, the Maldives Open in April, and the top 16 in the rankings get into that. So the winner of this could book themselves a trip to paradise. I suppose if you win this and the final, it's pool paradise.
Absolutely right.
Thank you, Rack
Yeah,
9.
Malta's a pretty sweet place to go. We played the 2008 Moscone Cup there.
No, you're wrong place. Maldives.
Oh, Maldives. Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Malta is nice, though, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, needs a little better hit on the 1. All right, better hit on the 1, still short, and a golden break.
Wins the rack.
You know, it's really strange in snooker when someone's lucky. They say, he's been golden. It works perfectly here. Golden to knock the 9-ball in. So it's the equaliser in that regard. And just like that, Wu's deficit has been reduced to 3.
Yeah, and he's feeling better about things every second. Soufi probably with a nice smile after that one as well. Even though he didn't love it, but seems like he's loving every moment, no matter the outcome.
Listen, after what happened against Albin Aushin, he can't complain about his opponent getting a fluke until, I think, 2025 maybe?
Wu Kunlun to break, trailing by 6 racks to 3.
Well, still not the break he wants besides the victory. He wants to make that 1 on the side, and he certainly has broke the balls well to get here. So he's got to improve just a little more. He's hitting the 1 consistently short, even though he's hitting them better and better. He's made 2, and now a pretty good safety probably coming, just because position on the 2's kind of difficult, especially to get back down table on the pink 4. So I think he banks the 1 away and tries to snuggle the cue ball up behind the 2. It's hard for these guys. They want to stay aggressive, especially when you're trailing, right? But looks to me you'd hate to cut the 1 in and come away with not really any look on the blue 2. One between the 5-9 cue ball behind the blue 2. All right, hit a little thick, so he's going to leave a little more than he wanted, no matter what the shot is, the jump cue or some type of kick. And why that happens is the players know on that type of shot, if they miss hit a little bit, that corner pocket could swallow up that cue ball. We saw that in a big moment with Jason Shaw and John Moore a few nights ago. Similar shot.
Extension, please.
Side pocket.
Just thinking, you know, about Soufi. That cue arm, as we've talked about, is more horizontal than most, but it doesn't seem to inhibit when it comes to playing the jump shot.
Yeah, jump shot a lot of times, even for the taller players, they'll be out sideways a little more. Very rare and hard to get up underneath. You have to be a pretty tall player to play most jumps that way. Looks to me he can hit enough for the 1 to kind of bank it in between the 5-9 back over and go up table with the cue ball. I think anyways, I think he can catch enough. Just kind of draw straight up to the middle of the end rail and just play the 1 in between. Like I said, back underneath the 6-9. That's more comfortable than trying to shave it or hit it lightly. Is he going behind the 2-8? Yeah, that's the shot I saw. I mean, he's going to leave a little bit of a look, but still, that's, you know, under pressure, that's the simple shot. Now, Soufi's got to spin into this with the kick. If he doesn't, he'll probably surrender the cue ball. Oh, you can see it. Oh, he's running good to get that up on the top rail and not give up a rail first shot. Now, Wu won't get fooled by the long rail kick here. He's going to play the safety, kind of crossing over the 1, bringing the cue ball up to the top end of the table with the 1 underneath maybe the 5 or the 6-9. If he hits it thin, he could get behind the 2. I hit it way too heavy. He's going to be very upset about that. That's an unforced error. Kind of let up on it, it looked like. Tried to control it a little bit much for my taste.
No, if things go well here, watch the blur that will be the run out.
Well, you can tell he possesses power even with that bit of sidearm stroke. And you notice a really cupped wrist, so that kind of brings the cue a little more in line than you think. He's not really swinging across the ball. Here's that blur you were talking about, Phil.
Yeah, from the Wu safety error to potentially the rack being won, it's a minute. Little loose there, mind you.
Yeah, he's just got to play a touchy stun stroke here, kind of wrapping out of the lower right corner, 2 rails towards the 8. He played it light, not trying to get at the 8, not too close anyway. He wants the balls clear out of the pocket because he likes to shoot the 9 firm. Doesn't slow roll them. And really, no matter where they're at, really.
Mohammad Soufi
Whacks it into the back of the pocket, and Wu Kunlin's revival has been halted. 7-3 now to Soufi. 4 more racks required for what would be an extraordinary appearance in the World 9-Ball Championship final. So the numbers here, well, I think it's all about the fact that Wu has made a lot of mistakes. He's missed 3 pots. They were in the early stages. They set the tone. And if your pot success rate is 89%, Jeremy, that will not get the job done pretty much in any match here, let alone a semi-final.
No, absolutely. Balls potted and misses, those things you can really look at. The safety errors come and go because some of them are very, very touchy and difficult to play. But I said earlier, the game, not only will I think it's going to get to an incredible level of potting the ball, but I think that's
Thank
the
you,
basis
rack
of
11.
it.
Mohammad Soufi to break, leading 7 racks to 3.
Soufi's been in every situation this week as well, so nothing new to him. Oh, 9 ball. Oof. He really gets a lot of contact on that 9, and that is by design.
Such ice stakes for all 4 players left in this tournament, but financially for him, it's in the stratosphere. If he were to win this match, he'd be guaranteed at least $30,000 US, and that's more than double what he's earned in total from all tournaments in the last 5 years.
Wow. So you would guess he carries a regular job as well as playing professional pool. Maybe not. That may all change after this week, I'll tell you.
Well, if he wins this, his life changes forever, doesn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. And as it should. He's definitely worked hard to get here. He's defeated at least 2 world champions in this, former world champions in this event. Took down Bartkowski in a huge kind of emotional match with so many Polish fans around rooting on their countrymen. That's got to go a little. Pretty good. Oh, wow, nice shot. And pretty good percentage, knowing the 6-7 is helping, and if he gets behind the pink, it's a bonus.
So Soufi lost his first match to Matthias Snigotsky. At that point, he was unheralded, not even thought about. Not now. He's at the forefront of everyone's thoughts.
Yeah, looks like he's hitting a high ball here, trying to hit it full, knock it around table, maybe go forward with the cue ball like that. Oh, he knocked it in.
We've been looking for a quintessential tide turner. Is that it?
Yeah, it could be. Look like Wu improving the break shot. So if he can get out here, we always talk about 7-4. That's definitely doable if you're trailing. Ooh, he got very odd here. And Wu, like most of the Chinese Taipei players, play very, very good cue ball, very percentage plays. And there's been a couple times he's gotten himself in an odd position, and this is certainly one of them. He's got to draw back. Not only draw back with good speed control, but knowing he's got to take on a tough 5-ball. Easy to let up here. Oh, he cheated the pocket nicely. That's going to help here on the purple 5.
We saw Francisco Sanchez Ruiz play an almost identical shot to that a couple of times last night when he was breaking and running for fun.
Oh, better effort there. Got through impact well. And to speak of Ruiz, and this is always what pool players are trying to get to, or they should be, nobody looks like they're out there playing by themselves more than Ruiz does. Maybe that's because he runs a lot of racks and we don't see his opponent to the table very often. But interested to see, because I said it in the opener, for me, Mario He is very similar situation as Ruiz. Kind of was in the shadow of David Alkidi for a while. Big talent. Mario He always maybe a sentence or two behind Albin Ocean in most discussions, but now not on Championship Sunday. All right, is he going to try and get a lot out of this? This is a pretty big stun. Could just kind of pinch it here and take a little more shot. He's getting more comfortable.
The gap closes to 3, and that is manageable for someone like Wu. Nerves are entirely justified, understandable today, for so many reasons, not least cold, hard cash. Total prize fund, $325,000 US. If you get to the semi-finals, which these guys have, you're guaranteed $17,500. The runner-up receives $30,000 US as some form of consolation, and the winner, the gleefully skips away with 60,000 US.
Yeah, and the world at his hands, whoever that person is later on this evening.
By the way, Francisco Sanchez Ruiz, if he were to justify favouritism and collect that first prize, he'd be so far clear in the world rankings.
Rank 12.
Over 75,000 points ahead.
Wilson Lin to break, trailing by 7 racks to 4.
And you wonder when, if that happens, when the run's going to kind of slow down a little bit for Ruiz. He doesn't seem to want to be slowing down, and his game certainly isn't either. All right, he hasn't made the one yet. He's made other balls, but and the one's hit short every time. He's going to get a nice shot on the one, even though it's long. Problem is, what does he play for the 3? Just roll the one in? Well, they're getting some movement on that 9 today.
Yeah, rolling the one brings its own hazards, because under pressure, rolling balls is so difficult.
Yeah, you couldn't blame him if he cued it with low left, tried to swing the cue ball between the 5-3, 2 rails at the 8, maybe contacting the 5 to slow it down, or maybe even clipping the 3. Could pocket them both, the 1 and 3. That's a lot better than, in my opinion, especially from distance, rolling this ball. And you can see a little elevation on the back end of the cue. Oh, he is going to roll it. And it's not going to be super slow.
Rolling from distance requires the head to be still, and with that excellent camera shot, we saw the head really was still.
Yeah, that's a couple shots he's made like that that kind of tells you he's getting a little more comfortable as the match goes along. Ooh, that's thin, and he's going to catch the 4 because of it. So now he has to figure out the speed control on the 4 to hold for the 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, very doable. Looks to me he can cut it in, come 2 rails just a little above the 9 for a little bit of a cut shot on the purple 5. I doubt he would go 3 rails back and forth. Very nice. You can see he starts with a low tip and then kind of raises it a little bit every pre-stroke. I wouldn't say common a ton, but definitely there's more players do that than you know.
Warming to his task.
And keeping Soufi away from the table for the longest stretch during the match. I wouldn't call this as much experience of being in this moment before, which he has. I would think this is more experience of just knowing himself. You know, I can settle down easily. I've been in this situation before. Maybe not with an opponent like Soufi, of course, but definitely has trailed. That was pretty light. I don't understand why he didn't really pull the ball 2 rails. Most players would have come out of the corner, 2 cushions there up to the center. So a little tester on the 9. Don't think the scratch is really an issue. See a little shake of the head. It's almost like he cinched the 8 a little bit there.
Praying that he avoids a skid. No issue. Gave himself just a few anxious moments there with that incorrect positional shot off the 8, but it was all covered over in the end.
Ahhoz képest ugye volt 6-0, ahhoz képest azért Kunlin Wu szépen felzárkózott. Soufi most már elég régen nem tudott asztalhoz állni, de egyelőre azért az előnyét még őrzi. Nem megy el az 1-es, viszont elment a rózsaszín, a 4-es. Hát ez ugratással nem, az biztos. És őszinte leszek, nem tudom, hogy hogy. És ezt egyelőre Wu sem nagyon látja. Mindjárt kiderül. Még van egy kis ideje, hogy elkezdje a gyakorlatot. Az ötlet nem volt rossz, és a kivitelezés is nagyon-nagyon picin múlt, hogy összejöjjön. Falról, pontosan 2 falról ráadásul, 1 és ugye 2, csak hogy egy picit hamarabb ért oda a kelleténél. Soufinak ez most lehetőség. Persze a kérdés az, hogy a csücsökhöz hozzáér-e az a golyó, mármint az 1-es.
Extension call.
Megoldja.
Extension called.
És a 9-es között nagy valószínűséggel elmegy. Kérdés, hogy hogy tudja eltalálni a 2-est. Hát ez szabadon adja. Hosszatja a 8. rekét. Soufi. És hozzá is.
Mohammad Soufi wins the rack.
És kezdhet majd, úgyhogy egyelőre csak közel engedte ellenfelét, de a tisztes távolságot azért még mindig tartja.
Game of 9 ball.
See there Mohammad Soufi chatting across the table. I think he's talking to Abdullah Al Yusuf, who's a good friend of his, who's sitting on the opposite side of the arena in the front row. And Abdullah was a semi-finalist last year.
Yeah, Omar Al-Shaheen, who left this event, you know, disgruntled. But I think Soufi's brought him in a better mood with his run, and he's been a cheerleader on the sidelines as well.
Thank you, rack 14. Mohammad Soufi to break, leading 8 racks to 5. Cut the music, please.
So the magic number, as they say in baseball, the magic number is reduced to 3.
Okay, he's going to get a nice shot at the 2 on the side. Let's see what the 3 has to say. I think it did come open, and I think he's got an angle that will carry him towards the 3. So definitely some work here, but he could extend that lead again. With the 8 being there, he probably is going to end up playing the 4 up long and follow down for the 6. Just because if he gets in a lot of places, the 8's going to cause problems kind of coming backwards with the cue ball. So I would keep it simple and just lay up here. That kind of naturally brings you towards the problem ball anyways. And he's a shot maker, so playing the 4 long shouldn't be much of a problem. It is hard to get much in about the rack with this guy at the table, I'll tell you. Plays so fast, but he thinks very well at that paces also.
His approach is almost revolutionary.
Couldn't agree more, Phil.
Mohammad Soufi wins the rack.
1 minute and 30 seconds, that rack. Pedestrian by Mohammad Soufi's standards. The 4 rack lead of the Syrian is re-established. 9-5, 2 away. And there's Abdullah Al Yusuf with a wide smile on his face. He was in the semi-finals last year. Now he's guiding Soufi, trying to provide a cool head. Yeah, he knows he's on camera.
Yeah, and they're all smiles, as they should be. And a big reason why Soufi is here is capitalizing on mistakes. The mistake on the safety in the last, he made a nice out. Now another break and run. That's how you overcome being, you know, what little underdog, you know, a favorite. It does not matter. That's how you win matches, especially at the pro level.
Rack 15. Mohammad Soufi to break, leading 9 racks to 5.
You said it right at the start of the match, Jeremy. The greatest amount of time on a shot is when he breaks, but that one malfunctioned.
Yeah, and that one was a little more on him, but still, that's what you have to do when you're playing the cut break. A little more gamble with the cue ball.
Start the clock, please.
He made 2 balls, though, so we're in a good position to cut that lead. Wu drawing above the 2 to the center of the table. He wants an angle here to come across. That looks pretty nice. This is so important, not just to get on the 3, but the real work in the rack is getting back on the 4. So he doesn't want to have to worry about the 9 or the 7, any of those balls coming across.
Can't help but think back to the action yesterday. Shane Van Boening 9-6 up against Duong Kok Hwang, and the defending champion scratched on the break, and thereafter it was a struggle that ultimately ended in defeat. Well, that scratch caused Soufi some issues.
That scratch was so unfortunate. A big kiss on the cue ball on that scratch from SVB. What a tournament he played to be out what I felt like very early for his performance, but got to give it to Wong.
Yeah, out in the last 16, but you look at the actual quality of his play, and he was right up there with the very best all week.
Yeah, I couldn't say anything more about it, but maybe him and Ruiz. I mean, that's the 2 that have really put it the best performances on, you know, match in, match out. But that's 9-ball pool, and you got to take advantage when you get a little bit of a roll here and there. Shane's had him. Okay, he's just queuing down, but watch the tips just slowly come up every pre-stroke, and then he's going to come across to the center. I don't know if I've ever seen the purple chalk before on the tip of a cue.
Well, right now he needs a purple patch. Another rack hauled back. It's 9-6. Wu Kunlin. He can draw confidence from an awful lot in this championship, particularly who he's beaten so far.
Picit megint ugrunk az időben, látható, hogy Soufi ugye tartja ugye a különbséget, 3 reki egyelőre a távolság, 9-6, és ugye 2 partit kell nyernie, és akkor élete legnagyobb sikerét érheti el. Valakit ugye egy kicsit megtéve ezt a dolog, akkor ugye miután néhány rek kimaradt, ezért most Wu kezdhet. Újabb dry break. Ilyen volt a kezdés joga. Wu Kunlin nem tudott élni ezzel, és most már egy Soufi ér. Kezik az asztalhoz, egy ugratást tervez, hogy esetleg azt a sárga egyest a középre eltegye. nem igazán biztos abban, hogy ez egy jó ötlet.
Extension, please. Foul stroke. Ball in hand. Start the clock, please.
Nem volt gond az egyessel, de a fehér is elment, úgyhogy most kézből jön. Az ellenfél majd.
Extension call.
Hát. Ez nagy hiba volt. A Soufi visszakapja a lehetőséget. Ez eléggé tiszta innentől. Na, mondjuk korábban, amikor megkapta másodjára a lehetőséget, is szépen csinálta Soufi, és így megvan a 10. rekje is, hogyha a 9-es elmegy.
Mohammad, Soufi wins the race.
Nagyon közel a döntő. Nagyon közel a döntő. Kezdhet
Rack 17.
a győzelemért, és ez azért ez egy nagy meglepetés.
Leading 10 racks to 6.
Úgy. Ezen a világbajnokságon jön ki úgy a lépés Soufinak, hogy élete legnagyobb sikerét érje el. Viszont megy. okos, okos. Direktben nem látni, de egyenesre helyezték volna.
Extension called.
Sokom volt, hogy ott azért ez a fehér elguruljon. De viszont innentől kezdve ez nem okozhat gondot Soufinak. Bizony, bizony, bizony. Nagyon szépen visszajön a zöldre, a 6-os, aztán utána elmegy majd a 7-esért, és aztán kész.
7 ball is frozen.
3 labda, vagy 3 golyó! Oh, majdnem több lett ebből. Hát kérem szépen, Mohammad Soufi lesz az első döntőse az idei világbajnokságnak, a 19-es VB-nek. Káprázatos teljesítménnyel 11-6-ra győzi le Kun-Lin Wut, és ezzel bejut a világbajnoki döntőbe, ami egy egészen elképesztő eredmény, és azt gondolom, hogy meglepetés is.